Yes.
I'll call the meeting to order at 7:30. Adequate notice of this meeting being held on June 2nd, 2022 has been provided in accordance with Section 3D of Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, commonly known as the Sunshine Law. Please rise for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
York,
Here.
Nelson, here, Keith,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Here.
Randolph,
Here.
O'Brien,
Here.
Decker,
Here.
Mooney, here, thank you.
A motion open for public comment.
I'll make motion open public comment. And also.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any initial public comment?
Aye.
My name is Brian Huff, owner and operator of Central Valley Farm. Most of you guys know me. The question is the food license that you guys sent us. Said it's $200. We paid it a couple times we paid $300. I think we should be exempt. I'm not sure if you guys want to read this or not.
We all have copies.
Perfect. Sorry about that.
Is that the licensing fee?
Yeah, I read it.
That's, I don't even know where it's at, but it's like all the way to the bottom, so it's category 2.
Yep.
And it says for like agriculture, blah, blah, blah. And then I also have certificates from Township Bethlehem from 2020 that says my fee is exempt. So it's like every year it's something different, like 200, 300 exempt. So what can we do about it?
So what we did, I guess, Mr. Spencer reached out to the county already, so we don't have an answer tonight.
Okay,
We get, right now, we get billed $100 from the county to do a health inspection each year at
okay,
your location. So, and that's what our CFO, Ms. Mooney, found today. So what I would suggest from the committee is I would find reducing the fee down to 100, or I was gonna suggest
because it was
125.
in 2020, which was only 2 years ago, I was exempt. I didn't pay anything.
So if the county will exempt you, then we'll exempt you. If the county charges us a fee, we'll,
And who has all these records? You know what I mean?
for what's been charged to you,
Yeah.
they're here.
Okay.
Because we had a board of health and then it was disbanded in 2000.
So you guys also see where I was exempt a couple times where I paid nothing.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was gonna say, so I don't have we said the best thing is that we don't have an answer, but we'll do, if the county exempts, we'll exempt. If the county charges, we're gonna pass on the fee from the county, but waive any additional fees.
Okay, so what you guys are saying is 100.
Probably, I would.
But you're not gonna tell me tonight.
Right, I mean, that's what we paid last year,
Yeah.
so, I don't know if their fees change.
Say that again?
We paid $100 last year, so
Mhm.
unless their fees change, I don't know what their fees are.
So, I have a question. Who does the health inspection that we pay now?
The county. board of health inspector.
So the county inspector comes out to your place, right?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Come on.
The county inspector comes out to your place, is what you're saying.
Right.
The
And all
county
they
sends
do is
us
they
a bill
look-
for doing inspection.
You guys all been there, they look in the refrigerator where we sell our stuff,
Right, yeah.
And they take the gun, make sure it's 40 degrees.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, that's generally what they care about.
So
I know
we can advocate for you
Like,
to
you
get the
know,
county to make you exempt, we'll do that.
Okay.
And if they'll do that, like I said, we're fine waiving any
We have a
fees.
copy of that exemption notice, I'm sure we can, just in case you can provide.
You want this?
Just,
You guys should have this.
Well, that's just a certificate from the township.
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
we're
so-
exempt.
That is exempt?
Yeah, that
Oh,
was,
okay.
that was
Oh,
issued.
It says right here, fee exempt.
Okay.
Like last year, we said fee $200. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
But in
okay.
2020.
that's actually is something the county saying brings up that office.
we're-
So we're waiting for a response.
So we're gonna wait for a response.
Yes.
So because we got our second notice, like, we're not gonna get in trouble, I'm not gonna go to jail or anything like that. Okay. When will you have an answer? The next meeting, or when you guys reach out to me?
Before the next meeting, because I think unless the rest of the committee has any objection, I don't think we need to necessarily, we have to do a resolution to change it, I believe, right?
Not really.
Well, it says the above may be modified at any time by resolution,
Yeah,
Right.
so,
But I mean,
It's
my
not.
reading is,
that it is exempt.
yeah, but if there isn't, there must be a health inspection, no matter what, by the county. So the cost should be passed through.
Oh,
But yeah. But I agree with you, the reading of the ordinance, I think is, consistent with the exemption interpretation.
so long story short, we're gonna fight for you to get an exemption from the county,
Okay.
and.
So I'm sure, I think we're the only farm stand in Bethlehem Township besides Avant, yeah, but that's, yes, correct. I mean, most of the stuff we do is the raw vegetables and fruits, not really,
Yeah, it was kind of vague. It just kind of says, some other
exactly.
prepackaged.
So if there is a fee charged by the county for the inspection, is that what Mr. Huff would be responsible for?
Yes.
Is that how I'm understanding it? Okay.
Would we, if the county charges a fee, pass on, so that's applicable to you, or you'll be fine with that, it's not like we're.
I guess.
I know you wanted $0.
I mean, I pay enough taxes, but,
It's a lot.
yeah, no, I would, and if it was like, I'm just saying, let's just go with $100. If it was $100 every year, we would know what's going on. Because if you look in the records, 5 years ago was $300, and then it was 200, 100, and then exempt. So it's all over the place. I don't know if the bond has that problem or not.
Who's the one who made that decision?
That I'm not surprised to see that it was changed every year. I'm surprised to see it changed every year, because it never came to us as a resolution, I'm not sure where.
Different words of health.
Yeah,
We
so,
had-
yeah.
There was 2 different secretaries prior to the clerk's office.
In other words, it was whoever's interpretation was what you're saying.
Yeah, so we don't have a local board of health anymore, so that's probably, why in 2020 it's on exempt, because they probably didn't meet, they probably didn't know what they were doing, and sent them exempt. And then now it's all county.
On 2020 was such an odd year, remember with the restaurants, they had different things going on. That may have been an anomaly because of the COVID
No, I understand.
and pass-throughs to
Yeah,
various businesses to try and help them. It was, okay, we're just not gonna charge anything
Right.
for this year. But then that does create that,
right.
where are we at?
Yeah, because, I mean, if you really read all this stuff, it's like the farm stand, really should be charged, what, like say, Rosa Lucas or not Rosa Lucas, the Spain too.
Right.
I mean, that's really not really fair, because they probably do 20 times what money we do. You know what I mean?
So the key is we want it to be as little as possible for you. If we can make it 0, we will. But
Right,
if we get charged from the county, typically, I mean, just every other, I'm familiar with other surrounding towns, and they don't have boards of health. And so it's the same thing, they just pass the fee through. I'm even backpedaling a little bit, because I'd like to charge a $25 processing fee, because I have to have our CFO write a check and everything, but I think at the very least, we'll just pass the cost through.
do I need to come up to the next meeting, or could somebody?
No, I just said, the rest of the committee doesn't have any issue.
I was well, great job.
I think we'll just confirm with you, and then we'll put it on as a resolution. for the next meeting.
Okay, thank
'Cause
you.
you're busy and doing a lot of things for us, so.
Yeah.
If you got questions, we can reach out to me too.
Okay. Sounds good. Is that it?
So, any other questions for us?
No, thank you very much. I'm gonna jet out.
Help any way we can.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? See no public comment in person or on online. Get a motion to close.
Make a motion to close public comment.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adopt regular session minutes of April 21st, 2022?
Motion to adopt those minutes.
That's it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt regular session minutes of May 5th, 2022?
Make a motion for May 5th minutes.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I have a motion to adopt resolution 2022-49, which has been tabled from the May 19th, 2022 meeting, hiring resolution for the planning board professional services under the fair and open process for the year 2022.
I make that motion.
Second.
Favor? I explained with the first table, but when we went through our audit review, the planning board chooses their own professionals, and in the end, we just leave it there. But since they're paid from our annual operating budget, even though it's dedicated to the planning board, we as a township committee need to do that final approval too, just to make the payment appropriate. So if anybody has a question why we're doing that now in June, and have been higher at the beginning of the year, so that's a short explanation. Do I have a motion to pay all bills in the amount of $280,692.21?
Make a motion to pay the bills in that amount.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Keith,
yes,
Lindsay,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes,
Randolph,
Yes.
Muir.
Yes. Report of public safety officials. See none in the audience. I'll just give a quick update. I've been in touch with Trooper Walsh about a few speeding incidents throughout town, and he's working to address those with additional patrols for those in public or online. If you have traffic issues, these ones in particular happen during school bus time, so we're trying to target those. But always feel free to reach out to me, and I'll reach out to our trooper representative, and we'll take the appropriate action to make sure that the roads are as safe as they can
On that point, obviously I'm out quite a bit. What I noticed the other day when I was out on Charlestown, meeting with some of the residents, on the curbs, the vehicles, regardless of what the speed limit is, the vehicles were not staying on their half of the road coming into those curves. So while they're not passing anybody with WLs, they're still failing to keep right. All the residents that I've talked to offered to have the troopers sit in their driveways, they'll bring them coffee, they'll accommodate them, because they realize that going through those curves and not being able to stay in control to be on your side of the road means that if you have to make a sudden correction, you're not staying in control of your vehicle also. So it's not just the speed that's an issue. So if you talk to the trooper before I do, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah, yes. Most of our residents have offered the driveway and coffee. It seems to be common about them. I don't know if they can always take us up on that for various legal and liability reasons, but they do go out and try to control it. Usually what we try to do is we've targeted a few chronic roads, and like something like Tunnel Road, like tonight, we're adjusting the speed limit. Other chronic roads, we go and the troopers know that they have kind of a schedule that if they sit there for a week, it gives them about 6 weeks of relief, and then they circle back again. So we try to make sure that we stay on the roads that we have issues with. And some of them, like Charlestown or county roads. So years ago, Mr. Decker and I went to the county to ask for some relief for Charlestown, and they told us that it's what they call it, a relief valve for 78 and 31. They're not willing to work with us, so we always try to do what we can, and it's our solution for now is rely on our state police on that road, but we always try to find the best ways for traffic calming. So, and report of municipal engineer.
Couple updates. Carl and I met yesterday. We had a pre-construction meeting with the paving contractor, Barrett Paving, for Iron Bridge Section 1. Carl was working on wrapping up, adjusting the inlet breaks that he put in last fall. We anticipate them starting as early as this Monday with putting in some new guide rail. And then the milling, they'll be milling the two ends and paving. There'll be project runs from Conley School to the railroad overpass. Basically, it's a mill on both sides and then an overlay in the middle, trying to establish the ground again.
And what is the impact of traffic? Because the schools are in session until June 10th.
Carl was telling me that the buses don't go up and down.
They don't. We still have teachers and parents.
I know. It's going to be, because the road is narrow, it's going to be closed. I can talk to the contractor about pushing it till after school is,
That would be helpful.
I mean, we're only talking
A week.
a week or two. Okay, when's the last day of school?
June 10th is the last day.
Oh, if June 10th is the last day, I don't anticipate. We're going to do the guide rail.
Okay, so
Just on the side of the road.
okay, so that road will be open.
That should be open, and I'll make it a point with the contractor, let them know not to start the paving until,
Okay.
after the time.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay. With regards to DOT, the state's advertised application applications for the 2023 grant application. I spoke with Carl, who looked at some of the roads, and we're trying to pick a series of roads that do not require as much drainage improvements as we have in the past. Carl needs some time to catch up on other drainage issues throughout the town. And so we're looking for a simple road. So what we're looking at this year is over in the Fox Farm State subdivision. We have talked to DOT. In the past, they've been reluctant on development roads, but we understand that they're starting to ease up on that. So we're gonna give that a shot. I also met with Carl and Judy out in the field last week at Brunswick Pike. We went through the drainage design for that, and we've got some ideas kicking around as far as some traffic calming and trying to discourage folks from going the wrong way from Asbury, Westport. Heritage Park, the specs for the reply have been completed. I just need to check them, and then we're going to send that out to several local well drillers to get quotes. And, we'll get those over to Jen to take a look at once we have them. And that's pretty much what I have to see.
Any questions for Mr. Decker? No. Thank you. Let's just say, just so we have the speed limit ordinance, just in case there's any question for that. Tonight we also have a mayoral appointment to the municipal planning board, alternate number 3, with expiration of term December 31st, 2022. Seat previously held by Judy Nat is being assigned to Jeffrey Coletti. So Mr. Coletti is a previous planning board member and spent a little bit of time interviewing, and we're excited to have him join the board and then take the time to return to the planning board. Under all business, we have a public hearing for ordinance 22 to amend the speed limit ordinance. Can I have a motion to open for public comment?
Make the motion open for public comment.
All second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
comments? Speed limit adjustment. Again, it's 40 miles an hour from 579 to the 78 overpass, and then 35 from 78 overpass to 173. And we will ask our troopers to start enforcing it as soon as we, well, Carl will put the signs out tomorrow, and then we'll start enforcing it. Any public comment? A motion to close public comment.
Motion to close public comment.
Second. So, yes, thanks. There's a response to residents' complaints there on Tunnel Road and erroneous speed limits, and now we'll be able to enforce proper speed limits. And Mr. Decker helped us with the speed study along with Phil Hunter and with their speed equipment. So, can I have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
I'll second. Roll call vote, please.
Key,
yes,
Lindsay,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Randolph,
Yes.
Muir,
Yes. We have a discussion about the Pattenberg Quarry for permit renewal, requesting a fee reduction. Prior to the May 19th meeting, so we're trying to figure out what the actual cost was. I have a motion open for comment.
Make a motion open for comment.
All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
We could start, Mr. Decker, I don't know if you've had an idea to figure out what you think would be a fair.
I took a look at it. I mean, time that it takes me to look at this is very minimal because it's a renewal. I think Chris and I spoke about this yesterday. I believe in the past, Township attorneys also looked at it, so that's another. The fee is $2,500, which I think be more than is needed for Mr. O'Brien and I to take a look at it. I mean, personally, for myself, I can't see me spending more than an hour looking at it already. I can't speak for.
Yeah, I would agree.
For Mike. And then if you have administrative costs,
Just depends how much time or impact is on your office.
Not even, just to get it compiled and sent
it'd be
out.
different if this was a new license or if they're changing something, but it's basically a renewal of what they already have on the books.
So when we say with slight rounding up based on the hours that you charge, and the clerk's time about $500 seems fair.
I think that's reasonable.
So on that fee, is that subject to change, if say the circumstances of the quarry becomes very active, there's more for you guys to do and review in the future?
Yeah, because the ordinance still requires $2,500. It's basically up to the committee if they can relax that, but it always, if this isn't going forward, it's gonna be $500 every
Okay.
time. Next time they have to come in, it's $2,500, or if they come in with a completely new plan that we have to,
This
review.
is 2 year.
2 years.
2 years. 2 years.
In 2 years, they can come back, and if it's the same minimum requirement needed, we can then discuss again, that's $500.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that the ordinance it took me max is 2,500 as of
And for
And
that,
then they also have an escrow that they've posted
right now. Okay.
for inspection because I think they were waiting to get some DEP approvals. So that right now, they're bringing material from the 78 project into the Union portion of the quarry. But they also needed some DEP permits, which they may have gotten by now. So once they start importing material into Bethlehem, then we will start doing regular inspections, inspecting the material and so forth. And that gets paid out of their inspection escrow, which once that gets down below a certain level, they have to replenish.
Is this an annual 500, or is 500 to cover the 2 years, and then when it comes up for review again, it'll be,
It would be the 500 for the 2 years because the license is good.
okay, so 250 for this year, 250 for next year.
well, it's just, you don't review, it's just when they review the licenses, submit a report every 2 years.
Right.
Motion to close, is there any public comments or questions about this? Motion to close public comment,
Make a motion to close public comment?
Second?
favor?
Aye.
Motion to reduce the fee for this one time only, based upon review in the next 2-year cycle, but this year to be at $500.
I'll make that motion as stated.
Second.
Roll call vote,
Keith,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Randolph,
Yes.
Muir.
please. Yes.
Thank you.
There's no new business on the agenda. Report of municipal attorney.
No report.
Report of municipal zoning official, I believe was emailed to us. Department of Public Works, Mr. Keefe or Mr. Roth, I don't know if you wants to share it tonight.
Okay. I got it in front of me, so I'll take care of it. A lot of mowing of parks and municipal building. First round of roadside mowing done. Did some odd and ends at the municipal building. Started to demo the barns at Heritage Park that were falling in. Did crossover on Blackbrook Road and Kalen Farms.
Excellent, thank you. Report of Finance Department official. So. Yes, big report.
So it's written, yeah, you want me to?
No, is there anything that you would like to highlight? No? Okay. Any questions from any committee members?
If anybody has any questions.
They're just saying, so. The 2% tax increase that we have overall based on the project, not a 3.5%, correct? Correct. That some people are believing out there. Okay.
Correct.
Very good.
Report of personnel technical support coordinator, Ms. Nelson.
Yeah, we're pretty steady in this area, so I really don't have much of an update on that, which is a good thing.
I was just gonna share, just so public know, so our tax collector, we did his review, we don't discuss it in public, but all employees go through an annual review, no employees have a 90-day review, and so that was completed.
That's correct. I was actually gonna highlight something in that under my governing body
Okay,
update.
okay.
Okay,
There was a personnel report, and people understand how we operate.
that's fine by me.
The reviews were suspended in 2021, so.
We have started that process, yes. We had our first one, a couple weeks ago, yes.
No tax appeals filed.
Excellent.
No county tax appeal filed. This isn't uncommon for a smaller town, but of course, the comparable sales last year were through the roof, so that's deterring a lot of people from potentially facing a counterclaim for an increase. So, but you're not going to incur any legal fees, and you're not going to have any adjustments moving forward.
It's good to hear. I will say, Mr. LaPorte, he's very diligent in follow up on tax payments. So we're averaging 97.5 and higher on rates. And I'll put out there too for residents, both in the audience here and on screen. He is open to discussions and very pleasant to work with. So everybody kind of thinks, oh, tax collector, but he is there to actually help you. So if you have questions or you do get a delinquent notice, please reach out to him and he will be very helpful in that process. Report of roads coordinator, Mr. Keefe, anything else to add?
Yeah, I just got a quick question is, have we added, trying to find a new replacement for one of the DPW workers? Have we placed that ad yet?
The ad has been placed, it's online with Treasure Hunt, and tomorrow it will go in the paper, the actual magazine, newspaper copy.
Okay,
Same thing for anybody who's listening. We're advertising, looking for a full-time DPW laborer. I believe, was it on the website also?
Pretty sure it is.
I think it is on the website. It's on our website and also through the local treasurer. Okay. Any other questions, Steve, or anything else to update?
we're good.
Thank you. Report of joint professional service coordinator, that's myself. Nothing to report this time. Report of Highlands Council coordinator, Ms. Nelson.
Yeah, as soon as we get our planner in, we're gonna be starting on some projects, that I've been mentioning on the master plan and going after some of that grant money. So we're on that.
Excellent, thank you. A report of governing body members, Mr. Lindsay.
Just one thing, the hazard mitigation plan that we're the county, that is complete. Our plan is done. I got it going next week. We just received the email today to make an appointment next week to go pick it up from the county. So I'll get that one on.
Thank you. Thank you for getting through that process.
I'm working with everyone else here as well. I think you had the worst part of it, trying to figure out some of the questions out there.
Yeah, some of them. Thank you, Mr. Decker. Yep. Mr. Randolph?
Really, the things that the public are concerned about right now, generally trees, traffic, and trucks. The one thing that some of the folks are telling me about the trees, the ash borers are not stopping at just the ashes, so we should anticipate that they're going to jump to another species of tree. And since we're a substantially wooded community, it's going to be a bigger issue as however this plays out through the environment goes about. So shouldn't be a concern to be aware of.
I'd also be aware of the spotted woodland farm.
They're right up there, they're eating everything.
That's the biggest threat, is not just to the trees, to crops and everything else.
On the trucks, I was at that disaster on 78 and the backup of vehicles coming on 173 and they start splintering out. Overnight, it's not so bad, people don't even notice it, but it's quite extensive. So I do have some conversations going with the DOT on behalf of the rescue squads and fire departments, because in that particular situation, when there was another call for a serious crash, there's a lot of equipment that gets deployed. When you get trapped in that no man's land of construction, all that equipment is trapped. Fortunately, we flagged some of the units to stand down until we actually found the thing, so they weren't tied in. But as luck will have it, one of these days, you're gonna have all your equipment tied up on something relatively insignificant in that no man's land. And then the big issue shows up and we don't have the resources. So working with them and giving them some ideas and seeing what they come back, and I'll work with you, Tom, on those things on behalf of the emergency squads.
Thank you. Mr. Keefe?
I have nothing tonight. Thank you.
Ms. Nelson?
Yeah, a couple things. Some good news. We were talking about our tax collector and so forth, and he is very diligent on getting the township revenues on delinquent taxes. And so there's a couple of properties that have been delinquent and owed us quite a bit of money, 13,000 in one case, 7,000 in another case. Looks like we're getting commitment to get that money in, which is great. It's been outstanding for a while, at least since last year, so it's gonna add up to about $20,000 just from those two properties, which I think is great, and that was mentioned as part of his review. The other thing that is very good news for the town is on the barns. Carl, I hadn't heard this directly from you, but I heard it from a few other people. I think it's got to get a final approval, but it looks like we're getting $25,000 from the insurance company on the taking down of the barns. So I think that that is great news. I don't want to gloat yet. I think it's got one more approval to go through. Am I correct, Carl? He's shaking his head, yes.
And thumbs up.
I'm getting a thumbs up. So that's a good thing. That is
June
great.
7th is the final review, but
Yeah.
thank you, Ms. Nelson, for spearheading that and asking why is an insurance paying for it.
Yeah, that was a pleasant surprise. I didn't even expect that much if we got anything at all. So that was really good news. Last thing is regarding these meetings, July and August vacation months tend to be a little bit slower. Would like to ask the committee if we could go down to once a month just for these 2 months. Maybe the second meeting of each month, which would be the 16th and the 18th of August, right, Chris? I think we talked about it yesterday. I know you don't have your calendar in front of you, but it's the second meeting of July and August. We would have, and we would not have the July 7th and August. I'll just throw it out there, say 5th or 6th.
Actually, go July to the 21st. and then the 18th.
I'm not here on the 18th of August.
That's okay.
I'm in Virginia.
That's okay. I think we have more.
There's the beach in the background. It's okay.
Actually, in Williamsburg.
So as-
The Wi-Fi.
History in the background.
Unless there's any opposition from the committee or the public, I'd like to,
I was gonna make a motion to increase it to once a week.
no.
Is that a motion or a joke?
At 8:15 at night, right?
So, Ms. Nelson, we'll take that you made the motion to
I
have
did.
the meetings reduced to once a month.
I make that motion.
Yeah, so 21st and 18th, July 21st, August 18th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Excellent, thank you.
That's it.
Not sure what to do with those 3 minutes.
I can think of things.
Anything else there?
That's it.
Board of Township Administrator.
I'm still getting up to speed on everything, going through personnel policy, job descriptions, just making sure we're up on that. I started meeting with the employees individually, so that's going well. I reached out to 2 cleaning companies. So what I had 2 quotes back. We have 2 walkthroughs, 2 quotes back. I'm going to speak with the business administrator at the school tomorrow morning to see what the school can do. If they can spare anyone to come up once a week. Our quotes were what they were, a little higher, but, so we'll see, hopefully. We can work something out. It's been a month since we've had a cleaning company.
So
I brought my
it's
vacuum.
going to be back in the office.
I'll come up and back.
And I think everybody's kind of taking care of things as they can, so thank you for putting up with that. We'll try to resolve this.
My wife has an NCD with cleaning, but I sent her up here. She-
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I mean, we're taking care of our own garbage and, doing what we can, but it's,
Resolve it quicker than later.
yeah.
We're already trying to work with the schools to see, so we've tried to do a couple of shared services with them. If we can do that for this, that'd be helpful. Thank you for investigating that. Anything further?
That's it.
Any questions from the committee? No. Report of mayor. Actually, I don't have anything. Everybody's covered. I have a fun thing that's preliminarily being planned. I'll look at our attorney because I may need to, I think you live in one of the towns I need to target, but Union Township has reached out and thrown down a challenge for municipal Olympics. And so far we have a commitment from Bethlehem. Nobody realized they've already committed on our behalf, so I'm sorry I took that step, but it's Union, Clinton Town, Alexandria, Lebanon Borough, High Bridge, and Bethlehem Township so far. We're working on Clinton Township and Franklin Township to join us. It'll be late August. I don't have a date yet, but we need 30 participants from each town, so I'm putting it out there. And it'll be fun games like pie eating, giant Jenga, a couple rain games. So it's a mix of athleticism, intelligence, and obviously everybody's gonna lose the bet on Township anyway, but I'm putting it out there now to get people to sign up. Feel free to reach out to me. And once we have
So
it.
this isn't employees, this is residents.
This is open to everyone.
Open everyone, if you're affiliated with Bethlehem Township, you are welcome to join us on this. Like I said, I think it's probably the third weekend in August. We haven't set the date yet. But we have commitments from these other towns. We're working on the others, so keep that in mind and please.
Do you have a
join us.
location possible?
Finn Park and Union to start, and then I think if it takes off, we'll probably just rotate through 10 towns, yeah. So that's a great way for all of us here in the north part of the county to get together and have some fun. That's any questions for me about, not about that, but about anything else? It's here. Okay, so then we'll open for the second public comment session. Have a motion open.
Make a motion to open public comment.
Have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Swally?
I have a question. That DPW job that's open is entry level only? And also it says submit resumes by May 13th.
On
The website.
the website,
is-
okay, the website's gonna have to be updated.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's- we
because
don't know.
I want to tell somebody about it, but. if
Yeah,
you
we don't
would-
have to set deadlines, so please share with them.
Yeah, but it is entry level only?
It is entry level only.
Okay.
We're a small department, so we ask for a lot of,
We'll take anyone.
yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna say, everybody does a lot of they rely on each other, but a lot of them have,
Yes.
a lot of them have various skills that are needed, but yes. Although I will say, we are one of the higher paid per hour in our surrounding area, even though it's entry level.
Okay, thank you.
Any other public comment? Mr. Maderos?
Sorry about that, having a little problem with my computer. Good evening, committee and everybody. Just wanted to first thank the committee and Mr. Roth and his crew for the great job that they did on Blackbrook Road. That flooding has been completely eliminated, worked great under the last couple of rainstorms, and they did a fantastic job finally patching over too. Really did a great job, and I really appreciate that. That was something I asked for quite a few years ago, and I'm glad that we finally got that done. Secondly, I got a flyer, and I just want to make some comments. Mr. Randolph can respond if he wants. But one of the things that he goes into is that he's a fiscal conservative, and just want to make a few points and just ask if he can answer if he chooses. If these actions were fiscally conservative. First of all, he gave 21% increases to employees 2 years in a row. That's a total of actually 46% increases in salaries. That goes on forever. Wasted money having our auditor bring up phony charges against another committee member.
There's give a direct question. I know these are things that you're concerned about, but if there's a question you have for Mr. Randolph direct or any of us on the committee, rather than.
Well, okay, I mean, does Mr. Randolph think that, that giving 21% increases to employees 2 years in a row, was that fiscally conservative? Mr. Randolph?
Well, Jose, I'm gonna just pass because with the history
Okay.
and with the actual math that was out there over all the meetings, yeah, I'm still a fiscal conservative, no matter how you would like to present.
Okay,
it. Let's go from there.
did you think it was fiscally conservative to waste money on investigations on fellow committeemen that ended up bringing nothing to it?
Again, Jose, we're just gonna
Okay.
pass on that. It's your public
Okay.
comment. Knock your socks off.
Okay, so did you think it was fiscally conservative to settle a lawsuit that wasn't even a lawsuit? I'm sorry?
I would suggest for anybody on the call here or in the audience, we have two candidates running. If you have questions or specific to them about their candidacy and their record, to reach out to those candidates.
Okay, the problem is that Mr. Randolph never
Randolph.
made himself publicly available for anybody. He just went individually to people, which, you know, he can say anything to anybody. And, you know, it's not something that he says to everybody. But my last question is, you know, do you think that it was fiscally conservative to pay for, you know, to settle a lawsuit that wasn't even a lawsuit, which meant that then our insurance company didn't kick in? Or the maximum we would have paid if it was an actual lawsuit would have been $20,000, and I believe we ended up paying over $200,000 because it wasn't even a lawsuit at that point, and you voted to settle that. And at the same time, you also voted to go against our township attorney's opinion, and you actually voted to not even allow that attorney to come into the executive session. So obviously he'll answer that the same way, but.
You gotta, let's say, reach out to Mr. Randolph. I'm sure his flyer has information on it.
Okay.
And either one of the candidates, if you have questions, they both serve the town in different capacities, so they both have records.
I will say this, since I am relentlessly, unapologetically, and fanatically supportive of the United States Constitution and all its amendments, while I disagree significantly with everything Jose is saying, everything that he's saying, I'm still glad that we can agree on one thing, Jose, and it doesn't have to do anything with money. That's why I'm leaning in so you can actually see me here. The First Amendment is so freaking important to me that even though you will say things that I just totally disagree with, or they could be whatever anybody's interpretation is, at least you exercise the First Amendment. I wish more people would, and I'm always hopeful whenever they do. So we can agree with that, while everything else you said is somewhere south of wherever.
Everything I said was provable, but that's okay. But I do agree with one thing that you said, you know, keeping Bethlehem Township nice. That's very nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Cusick?
Yes, now that we're on the topic of lawsuits, is there any update on this potential $55 million lawsuit that the town has against us? Or no, any update on that? It's still ongoing?
No further update that I know of for legal, but we've heard nothing else since it was initiated. And I think this is still in the tort claim period also, correct?
Yeah, and it's, you know, I believe an answer was filed recently by the firm that was appointed by the joint insurance fund to defend the case. So it's really in its preliminary stages.
Who was that lawsuit filed by again? Who filed the lawsuit against the town?
Mr. Medeiros.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any other public comment, both either online or in the audience? Okay, a motion to close public comment?
I'll make a motion to close public comment.
And I'll second.
In favor?
Aye.
After somewhat contentious, remember Township Olympics. Try to lighten it up after that. There is no executive session for this evening. I have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone,
Aye.
for all the work you do in between these meetings and for the meeting tonight.
Jerry, see the boxing ring with those huge gloves?
That's great.
Tap away.
Yeah.
I think one of the